And so welcome to the third guided finger labyrinth session that I've been holding for Labyrinth Week in the lead up to World Labyrinth Day on Saturday. Let me move forward. So this is me, and this is me walking an unusual labyrinth that has a underground womb-like center, and I will share a video of me just having walked this. I walked this in March, and there was water at the bottom, so it was it's in the shape of a vulva, and I went down into like the womb-like center, and there was water in the floor and it was cold. But that added to the sensory impact. And then coming out of the womb was a bit like coming out of the center. It was like coming out of the womb and coming out of the amniotic fluid. So it's a very unusual experience, and filled me with joy to get to do some of these unusual experiences. It was a lot of fun. I've got some different labyrinths to show you. These are all labyrinths that I have made in my garden, on the beach, for festivals. So labyrinths you can make. I will send some details how to make these, some of these labyrinths, to make floor labyrinths, in tomorrow's email. And although if you're watching the recording, it's the email that you've got today. And also where you can find floor labyrinths, pavement labyrinths, public ones that you can go and visit. And I know we've just been talking about this in our chat beforehand, but for people watching the recording, if you would like to experience labyrinths with me, then I invite you to come to my weekend retreat in June, and I will be doing other ones. So if you can't make this one in June, as soon as I have dates for future labyrinths, I hope to be doing 2 a year, if not more. And you can see there's 2 beautiful labyrinths. We have lots of we do other things like a fire ceremony, closing the bones, which is the top right hand corner. It's very powerful. We're in a beautiful setting, beautiful grounds, so it's a great opportunity to connect with others as well as to connect with yourself. And I've just been talking about my online wellbeing retreats. So I have a whole annual program set out of some that are last a month and once a week, some that are just 1 week long, and some are in person, some you do yourself online that are done by email. I'm using and following the seasons and the flow of our lives and seeing it as a cyclical thing, that there are different times in our year, in our lives, when we need to rest, sometimes when we are preparing, other times when we are joyous, and other times we're celebrating. And throughout the year, I'm using the year to reflect that. And we do finger labyrinth sessions at the online retreats. So we have, this week I wanted to share labyrinths with you and have a focus for each one. So we started off using labyrinths just to relax ourselves and unwind, because labyrinths are really good at helping us to slow down and to be mindful and in the moment, to think. And then yesterday we talked about how I had a focus about how labyrinths can be helpful for healing, that you can, labyrinths is a safe container for you to have a time and a place to think about things, and that you can leave things in the labyrinth. And today we're using labyrinths to thinking about labyrinths helping us to think, to contemplate things. And it's no wonder that labyrinths are found in universities, because it's a bit like you get your inspiration when you're in the shower, or knitting or doing something like that. When your body is occupied, then your conscious mind is occupied by working out the path, and then your subconscious can come, and you find that your thoughts untangle as you're twisting and turning. It untangles your thoughts. There are different ways that people use the labyrinth to help them to think. Sometimes they just hold something in their mind as they walk around, and that obviously their mind they might consciously think about something, or they might just have it there but enjoy the path, and then every now and then go, oh yes, I'm going to think about this. Some people like to think about a problem on the way to the middle, and then pause, and then and pause and wait in the middle, and then when they return, they're being open to possibly solutions or ideas or thoughts. Some people like to think about the past on the way into the middle and the future on the way out. It doesn't matter how you do it. Sometimes people go into the labyrinth thinking, I'm going to think about this, and find themselves thinking about something else. Sometimes people think, I'm not going to think about anything. And then it's just the process of, because there's no decisions to be made, so your cerebral cortex doesn't have to get involved. And again, because you can't work out where you're going. So again, your cerebral cortex, your thinking brain, can't plan ahead. You literally have to just think about the path in front of you. And by doing that, that allows your subconscious to be more present. And this is when people get insights of wisdom and start tuning into how they actually feel. And I've got a couple of quotes here. I love this one from Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk. And if you search Plum Village, you can find out more about him. Sadly, he's no longer with us in this earthly realm. He says, to meditate means to go home to yourself. And I love that. And Lauren Artress, who's the founder of Veriditas, a couple of quotes from her, and I particularly like, we're not human beings on a spiritual path, but spiritual people on a human path. Profound to think about. Anyway, so I suggested in the emails for you to have something or somebody to hold in your thoughts as you do your finger labyrinth journey today. It's entirely up to you. I'm not asking you to share with me at all. You can, or it may be a problem or a situation, or you could just think of a word or a phrase that you want to just be there in your mind. And it can be useful to have a word or a phrase to, if you find your mind wandering, you can bring yourself back, or you can consciously think of that phrase and say it to yourself at particular points in the labyrinth journey. It's entirely up to you. These are just suggestions and ideas. So I'm going to light the candle again. In today's email, I talked about, well, yesterday's, if you're watching this on replay, having a bit of ritual. So we lit the candle yesterday, thinking about all the people needing healing. But today we'll just think about it, lighting the candle for, maybe if you are thinking of people in your mind, but also for giving us light, and illustrating that we might get some illumination. That's what I'm trying to think. Illumination from our labyrinth walk today. Right, as usual, I'm going to read a poem at the beginning and at the end. It takes about 10 minutes to do the finger labyrinth walk, and that way you know, but you may finish early or later, it doesn't matter. I got my finger labyrinth here. You might have the paper one, which might be of a similar design to this, or you might have a smaller one. The idea is that we're going to follow the path between going slowly all the way to the middle, pause in the middle, and then return back to the outside. If you've got a small one like this, when you come out, you might like to go all the way around the edge and then back in again. This is one I made from card and string. If you, just take your time, breathe, drop your shoulders, and drop your shoulders and relax your jaw. Right, I'm going to put the music on and then I will read the poem. Play. This is, I don't know where these words come, who wrote these words, but they are written on the sign outside this very labyrinth at Toff Manor. It is with the heart that we love, the mind that we create, the body that we feel, the soul that we dream, and the spirit that we fly. Enjoy the journey, the path is yours. This poem is called Breathe. If you're still walking your labyrinth, then that's fine, carry on. She sat at the back, and they said she was shy. She led from the front, and they hated her pride. They asked her advice, and then questioned her guidance. They branded her loud, then were shocked by her silence. When she shared no ambition, they said it was sad. So she told them her dreams, and they said she was mad. They told her they'd listen, then covered their ears and gave her a hug whilst they laughed at her fears. And she listened to all of it, thinking she should be the girl they told her to be, best as she could. But one day she asked what was best for herself, instead of trying to please everyone else. So she walked to the forest and stood with the trees and heard the wind whisper and dance with the leaves. She spoke to the willow, the elm and the pine, and she told them what she'd been told time after time. She told them she never felt nearly enough. She was either too little or far, far too much. Too loud or too quiet, too fierce or too weak, too wise or too foolish, too bold or too meek. Then she found a small clearing surrounded by firs, and she stopped, and she heard what the trees said to her. And she sat there for hours, not wanting to leave, for the forest said nothing. It just let her breathe. I will share that poem in the email, or if you're watching the recording, then it's in the email that you've had. I think I did another page. Did I do another page? This is the last of our labyrinth walks in the run-up to World Labyrinth Day on Saturday. And this is a worldwide event where everybody who wants to take part is invited to walk a labyrinth at 1 o'clock in their own time zone. And it can be a floor labyrinth or a finger labyrinth. And the idea is that we walk as one at one. So recognizing that we are part of a worldwide community, and that we spread that we're spreading love and peace and the intentions of love and peace across the world when we walk as one at one. I'm not doing a live event because it's the middle of the coronation here in the UK, but I hope that you will be able to take a moment out to walk as one. But if you don't make it at one, there'll be somebody in the world. If you're doing it at 2 or at whatever time you do it, you'll be doing it at the same time as somebody else in the world if you do it on the o'clock. So I hope you'll join me, and I really love to hear what you do, and I would love to hear what you have thought and felt about taking part and following along with these guided finger labyrinths. And I really hope to meet you all someday, and hope that you will join me for one of my online or in-person retreats or well-being events in the future. So I send out my love and best wishes to all of you. And I can feel it coming back to me. So thank you very much. For those of you following in person, I'm going to press stop the record, and then we can share if you want to share. As with everything, you don't feel obliged. I don't